And we have Eureka and Andrea here to present our webinar today. They're on our grants and advisory services team. So you two may take it away.
Thanks, Sarah and Heather. Welcome everyone to the School Safety Standard Formula Grant webinar in Texas. I'm Eureka Mezia, the Grants and Funding Specialist at Bluum, joined by my supervisor, Andrea. We are really excited for this initiative to standardize school safety within Texas. And I know there's many new legislations that are on the table right now, changing this landscape. Let's see. In today's agenda, we'll go over the grant summary of the school safety standard, the eligibility, how the allocations are made, the timelines, allowable costs, your administrative steps to apply, and an application overview. Then we will close it out with how we will be supporting you through our grant advisory services. So the school safety standard formula grant was authorized in October of 2022 with this budget. It is a yearly grant, so you may be familiar with this, but this is a $400 million funding opportunity through the Texas Education Agency, TEA, for school districts to replace their school hardening initiatives and add to their safety initiatives if they have met the minimum standards. The award amount is based on allocation, which means if you are a school district that has awards fund allocated to you, you will be going for that award, and it's a non-competitive process. In the last couple of months, Alyssa's law has been signed into Texas law that mandates panic alert systems in every Texas classroom in public schools. And you have until 2025 to comply to this mandate. The eligibility for the school safety standard formula is public school districts and charter schools for which the allocations are made. New charter schools that are opened in 2022 to 2023 are eligible for the minimum grant award, but new charter schools formed after 2022 is ineligible for funding for this round. And private schools are not eligible for funding. So what is an allocation? It's a non-competitive grant format. You will look up your name to see if you're on the list of allocations, and then this is calculated based per pupil with a minimum being $200,000. So if you are a district that might be smaller or rural, and the per pupil might be less than $200,000, you'll be automatically raised to that minimum. Timeline and resources. So today is the Bluum informational webinar, which you will have access to through your AEs. Monday, July 24th, 2023 is the deadline for a guaranteed Bluum application review. We'll go over what that is at our last slide. And August 1st, Tuesday, August 1st, 2023 is the application deadline on TEA's e-grants. We'll go through the allowable use of these funds. You'll see that there's two categories that are mentioned in this application. The first is category 1, which is to meet school safety standard rules, and then equipment 2, category 2, which is everything that you can purchase once the school safety standard rules are met. In category 1, there is fencing exterior doors, glass exterior doors, ground exterior doors, ground level exterior windows, silent panic alert technology as written in by Alyssa's law, and other required components and installation. So once you have met your safety standards through any of these means, then you'll be eligible to apply for category 2 funding, which is safety measures above the safety standards. So that could be the purchase and maintenance of camera equipments, providing security, providing school safety, as well as programs related to suicide preventions, metal detectors, two-way radios, electronic door locking systems, and there's a more comprehensive list in the guidelines. How we can help is through our partners. Our AEs have a depth of knowledge of all of our technologies that can be customized to fit your district's needs. This is some of our partners that we have that supply the equipment. So you'll be contacting your AEs to help with the budget formulation and learn about our technology. At this time, you'll be prepping for as a school district to make sure that your TEAE grants is up to date with registration information. You'll also want to review internal steps within your districts to approve of submissions of grants. And lastly, you would want to review your compliance with the school safety standards that's mentioned in the Chapter 61 Commissioner's Rule for concerning school safety. That this will be the guidelines for meeting those school safety standards. The application is quite streamlined since it is an allocation. First, it'll ask you for general contact information, program description, so that's your program plan, what you are using the funds for. This is a checklist. So as long as you have an understanding of what is a deficit to your school safety standards, then you'll be able to fill that out. Program narrative also is very simplified. Asking how much you want to spend and what vendors you are planning on spending with and which you've spent in the past. Program budget. So this is a section where our AEs can help you. In the program budget, you won't be asked for what specific vendors you'll be going with, but more of an overall summary of how much per category you'll be spending with. And lastly, you'll be signing off with some provisions and insurance and certifications for the application. So there's no big narratives and it's very streamlined, but I'm sure our AEs would love to support you in the budget. For grants advisory services, we are offering a full suite of services at a courtesy to you. We offer application review where we will be able to receive your application and review it to align with the criteria of the application. The Bluum grant guide will make sure that you have a comprehensive guide of what to demystify all the questions. I know some of the semantics in the application could be a little daunting. We also hold this informational webinar that will be available to you and one-on-one support through video calls or email. And that finishes off the presentation and I'd open it up for questions. Yes, Andrea?
Eureka, I just wanted to clarify a couple of things. When
Sure.
we look at the deficits in terms of the school district's safety program, are there specific things that are required or specific things that the district should have completed in order to justify those deficits?
Yes, so you'll be referencing your school safety standard requirements in Chapter 61. So you'll look over that, and it's not that you need every single one of these categories. It's just that these are some of the tools that you can use in your assessment of meeting those school safety rules.
Okay, do districts have to have completed a threat assessment? Was that a requirement in order to submit the application?
No, it's not a requirement to complete a threat assessment. It's internally evaluating if the safety standard rules have been met.
Okay, that's great. That's what I thought. I just wanted to clarify that. And then, so in order for a school district to request the funding in Category 2, they need to have met these safety standards first in Category 1.
That's correct. Yes.
Okay. That's great.
It
Thanks.
can be in between. So if you only have a little bit that needs to, so for example, if you have to spend a little bit on silent panic alert technology, and then you'll complete the school safety rule, then you can spend on this and then spend on category 2 for the rest of the funding. So it can be split between category 1 and category 2, as long as by the time you've finished category 1 spending, then you can, that you're meeting the school safety standard.
Okay, great. Thanks for that clarification.
Yeah.
Erica.
Eureka, we do have one question in the chat. It
Okay.
asks, we have already spent the first round on fencing. Can we reapply again for next year?
Sure. So we anticipate that I think it depends on if you are up to your school safety standard with this round of funding. If not, then you are more than welcome to apply. And it also depends on if there is an allocation given to you next year. If there is, then it's an allocation-based grant, so you will be receiving those funds either way, and maybe you'll be able to spend it on category 2 if you've met all of your school safety standards.
Thank you, Andrea, or thank you, Eureka, excuse me. I think that, it says they have not met all the standards.
Okay, if you haven't met the standard, then you'll be still spending in category 1.
Awesome. I don't see any more questions popping into the chat, but if you do think of questions in the future, please feel free to reach out to grants@bluum.com. You'll be getting a copy of this recording and of the presentation in a follow-up email, along with some important date reminders. So with that, if we do not have any more questions, let me check one more time just to make sure. Looks like we're all good. Thank you all for joining us, and we look forward to working with you soon. Thanks.